Hello and welcome to this second look exploring session looking at the Interlude of Youth. It's a bit of a... I was going to say it's a landmark moment for us. It isn't really. It is the return to the Interlude of Youth, which is in fact our first Zoom session when we started doing these videos on YouTube, all back in the day when we hadn't quite figured out what the hell we were doing. And we're doing it in all sorts of different ways and sort of trying to get a handle on things. So this is sending us back nearly 3 years since we last looked at this. I've been meaning to look at it for ages, and we never got around to it. So we are returning to this. It is a relatively early surviving interlude. Of course, interludes survived earlier than this. It's around, off the top of my head, I should have looked this up before. It's around 1514. I think it appears in print. It's quite an early printing as well. So we're in the reign of Henry VII, I think, off the top of my head. Or are we in 8 yet already? Maybe
1509, I think, is Henry VIII.
So we're just into 8. So by the time it's printed, it might have existed slightly earlier than that. Again, I should have looked this up before I started this, but never mind. But it's that sort of area. And yeah, when plays are still quite thin on the ground, but we are starting to get into the interlude culture that we'll get a lot more of in the early Tudor period. So reading today, we're going to read straight through and then have a little chat about it at the end, but we're going to go at it with pace and vigour, with everything that in theory we've learnt over the last almost 3 years. Reading Pride is
Alan in Suffolk.
Reading Lady Lechery and Humility is
Lois in London.
Reading Charity is
Kyle in Tucson.
Reading Youth is
Lynn in the Northwestern United States.
And reading Riot is
Aliki in Athens.
And I'm your host, Robert Crighton. I'm reading nothing at all. I'm just going to be tidying up the text as we go along. So I don't even read stage directions. We're not reading those. There aren't many in the text anyway. So let's see what the words give us and see what comes out the other end. Otherwise, we begin with Charity.
Jesu, that his arms did spread, and on a tree was done to dead. For all perils he you defend. I desire audience till I have made an end. For I come from God above, to occupy his laws to your behalf, and am named Charity. There may no man saved be, without help of me. For he that charity doth refuse, other virtues though he do use, without charity it will not be. For it is written in the Fae, qui mane in caritas in Deo mane. I am the gate, I tell thee, of heaven, that joyful city. There may no man thither come, but of charity he must have some, or he may not come, Ewis, unto heaven, that city of bliss. Therefore, charity, who will him take? A pure soul it will him make, before the face of God. In the ABC of books the least, it is written, Deus caritas est. Lo, charity is a great thing. Of all virtues it is the king. When God in earth was here living, of charity he found none ending. I was planted in his heart. We two might not depart. Out of his heart I did spring, through the might of the heaven king. And all priests that be may sing no mass without charity. And charity to them they do not take, they may not receive him that did them make. And all this world of naught.
Aback, fellows, and give me room, or I shall make you to avoid soon. I am goodly of person. I am peerless wherever I come. My name is Youth, I tell you. I flourish as the vine tree. Who may be likened unto me in my youth and jollity? My hair is royal and brushed thick, my body pliant as a hazel stick. My arms be both big and strong, my fingers be both fair and long, my chest as big as a ton, my legs be full light for to run, to hop and dance and make merry. By the mass, I reck not a cherry whatsoever I do. I am the heir of all my father's land, and it is come unto my hand. I care for no mo.
Are you so disposed to follow vice and let virtue go?
Yea, sir, even so. For nowadays he is not set by, without he be unthrifty.
You had need to ask God mercy. Why did you so praise your body?
Why, knave, what is that to thee? Wilt thou let me praise my body? Why should I not praise it, if it be goodly? I will not let for thee.
What shall it be when thou shalt flit fro thy wealth into the pit? Therefore, of it be not too bold, lest thou forethink it when thou art old. Ye may be likened to a tree, in youth flourishing with royalty, and in age it is cut down, and to the fire is thrown. So shalt thou, but thou amend, be burned in hell without end.
Yea, whoreson throwest thou so? Beware lest thou thither go. Hence, caitiff, go on thy way, or with my dagger I shall thee slay. Hence, knave, out of this place, or I shall lay thee on thy face. Sayest thou that I shall go to hell, for evermore there to dwell? I had liever thou had evil fare.
Yet, sir, do by my rede, and ask mercy for thy misdeed, and thou shalt be an inheritor of bliss, where all joy and mirth is, where thou shalt see a glorious sight of angels singing with saints bright before the face of God.
What, sirs, above the sky? I had need of a ladder to climb so high. But what, and the ladder slip? Then I am deceived yet, and if I fall, I shall catch a quick. I aiming fortune to break my neck, and that joint is ill to set. Nay, not so.
Oh, yet remember and call to thy mind, the mercy of God passeth all thing. For it is written by noble clerks, the mercy of God passeth all works. That witness Holy Scripture, saying thus, Miserationes Domini super omnia opera eis. Therefore doubt not God's grace, thereof is plenty in every place.
What? Methink ye be clerkish, for ye speak good gibberish. Sir, I pray you, and you have any store, soil me a question, or ye cast out any more, lest when your coming is all done, my questions have no solution. Sir, and it please you this, why do men eat mustard with salt fish? Sir, I pray you, soil me this question that I have put to your discretion.
This question is but vanity. It longeth not to me, such questions to assoil.
Sir, by God, that me dear bought, I see your coming is little or naught, and I should follow your school, soon ye should make me a fool. Therefore, crake no longer here, lest I take you on the ear and make your head ache.
Sir, it falleth not me to fight, neither by day, ne by night. Therefore do by my counsel, I say, then to heaven thou shalt have the way.
No, sir, I think ye will not fight, but to take a man's purse in the night. You will not say nay, for such holy caitiffs were wont to be thieves, and such would be hanged as high as a man may see with his eye. In faith, this same is true.
God save every Christian body from such evil destiny, and send us of his grace in heaven to have a place.
Nay, I warrant thee, he hath no place for thee. Weenest thou he will have such fools to sit on his gay stools? Nay, I warrant thee, nay.
Well, sir, I put me in God's will, whether he will me save or spill. And sir, I pray you do so, and trust in God whatsoever you do.
Sir, I pray thee, hold thy peace, and talk to me of no goodness, and soon look thou go thy way, lest with my dagger I thee slay. In faith, and thou move my heart, thou shalt be weary of thy part, or thou and I have done.
Think what God suffered for thee, his arms to be spread upon a tree, a knight with a spear opened his side, in his heart appeared a wound wide, that bought both thee and me.
God's fast, what's that to me? Thou daw, wilt thou read me in my youth to lease my jollity? Hence, knave, and go thy way, or with my dagger I shall thee slay.
O sir, what I will you tell, and be ruled after my counsel, that ye might set in heaven on high with God and his company.
And yet of God wilt thou not cease till I fight in good earnest? On my faith I tell thee true, if I fight thou wilt it rue all the days of thy life.
Sir, I see it will none otherwise be. I will go to my brother Humility, and take counsel of him, how it is best to be do therein.
Yea, marry, sir, I pray you of that. Methink it were good sight of your back. I would see your heels hither, and your brother and you together, fettered fine fast. It was, I had the K. You should sing well away, or I let you loose.
Farewell, my masters, everyone. I will come again anon, and tell you how I have done.
And thou come hither again, I shall send thee hence in the devil's name. What now I have my space to jet here in this place, before I might not stir when that churl Charity was here. But now among all this cheer, I would I had some company here. It was my brother Riot would help me, for to beat Charity and his brother too.
Huffa, huffa, who calleth after me? I am Riot, full of jollity. My heart is light as the wind, and all of Riot is my mind, wheresoever I go. But what ye would I do here? To seek youth, my compeer. Fain of him I would have a sight. But my lips hang in my light. Godspeed, Master Youth, by my fay.
Welcome, Riot, in the devil's way. What brought you hither today?
Knotted my legs, I tell thee. Ye thought thou did call me, and I am come now here to make royal cheer, to tell thee how I have done.
What? I ween thou hast been hanged, but I see thou escaped. For it was told me here that you took a man on the ear, his purse in your bosom did fly, and so in knew all night he did lie.
So it was, I beshrew your pate. I come lately from Newgate, but I am as ready to make good cheer as he that never came there. For, and I have been spending, I will make as merry as a king, and care not what I do, for I will not lie long in prison. For I will get forth soon, for I have learned learned policy, that will loose me lightly, and soon let me go.
I love well thy discretion, for thou art all of one condition, and thou art subtle and steadfast of mind, and not changeable as the wind. But, sir, I pray you, at the least, tell me more of that jest that thou told me right now.
Moreover, I shall tell thee, the mayor of London sent for me forth out of Newgate for to come, for to preach at Tyburn.
By Our Lady, he did promote thee to make thee preach at the gallows tree. But, sir, how didst thou escape?
Verily, sir, the rope brake. And so I fell to the ground and ran away, safe and sound. By the way, I met with a courtier's lad, and 20 nobles of gold in his purse he had. I took the lad on the ear, beside his horse I felled him, there, took his purse in my hand, and 20 nobles therein I found. Oh, Lord, how I was merry.
God's foot, thou didst enough there for to be made a knight of the collar.
Yea, sir, I trust to God Almighty at the next session to be dubbed a knight.
Now, sir, by this light, that I would fain see. And I plight thee, so God save, that the surer collar thou shalt have, and because gold collars be so cheap, unto the roper I shall speak, to make thee one of a good price, and that shall be of warranties.
Youth, I pray thee, have ado. To the tavern let us go, and we will drink divers wine, and the cost shall be mine. Thou shalt not pay 1 penny, Iwis, yet thou shalt have a wench to kiss whensoever thou wilt.
Marry, Riot, I thank thee that thou wilt bestow it on me, and for thy pleasure so be it. I would not charity should us meet and turn us again. For right now he was with me and said he would go to humility and come to me again.
Let him come, if he will. He were better to bide still. And he give thee crooked language, I will lay him on the visage, and that thou shalt see soon, how lightly it shall be done. And he will not be ruled with knocks. We shall set him in the stocks to heal his sore shins.
I shall help thee if I can to drive away that hangman. Hark, Riot, thou shalt understand. I am heir of my father's land, and now they be come to my hand. Methink it were best, therefore, that I had one man more to wait upon me.
I can speed thee of a servant of price that will do thee good service. I see him go here beside. Some men call him Master Pride. I swear by God in Trinity, I will go fetch him unto thee, and that even anon.
Hie thee apace, and come again, and bring with thee that noble swain.
Lo, Master Youth, here he is, a pretty man and a wise. He will be glad to do you good service in all that ever he may.
Welcome to me, good fellow. I pray thee, whence comest thou? And thou wilt my servant be. I shall give thee gold and fee.
Sir, I am contentuous to do you any service that ever I can do.
By likelihood thou should do well enow. Thou art a likely fellow.
Yes, sir, I warrant you. You will be ruled by me. I shall you bring to a high degree.
Oh, what shall I do? Tell me. And I will be ruled by thee.
Marry, I shall tell you, considering ye have good enow, and think ye come of noble kind, above all men exalt thy mind, put down the poor, and set naught by them, be in company with gentlemen, jet up and down in the way, and your clothes, look they be gay. The pretty wenches will say then, yonder goeth a gentleman, and every poor fellow that goeth you by will doff his cap and make you courtesy. In faith, this is true.
Sir, I thank thee by the rood for thy counsel that is so good, and I commit thee even now unto the teaching of Riot and you.
Lo, Youth, I told you that he was a lusty fellow.
Marry, sir, I thank thee that you would bring him unto me.
Sir, it were expedient that ye had a wife to live with her all your life.
A wife? Nay, nay, for God avow he shall have flesh now. For by God that me dear bought, overmuch of one thing is naught. The devil said he had liever burn all his life than once for to take a wife. Therefore I say, so God me save, he shall no wife have. Thou hast a sister, fair and free. I know well his leman she will be. Therefore I would she were here, that we might go and make good cheer at the wine somewhere.
I pray you, hither thou do bring her, for she is to my liking.
Sir, I shall do my diligence to bring her to your presence.
Hie thee apace, and come again. To have a sight I would be fain of that lady free.
Sir, in faith, I shall tell you true, she is a fresh and fair of hue and very proper of body. Men call her Lady Lechery.
Oh, my heart burneth, by God of might, till of that lady I have a sight.
Sir, I have fulfilled your intent, and have brought you in this present that you have sent me for.
Thou art a ready messenger. Come hither to me, my heart so dear. Ye be welcome to me, as my heart in my body.
Sir, I thank you, and at your pleasure I am. Ye be the same unto me.
Masters, will ye to tavern walk? A word with you there will I talk, and give you the wine.
Gentlemen, I thank you verily, and I am all ready to wait you upon.
What, Sister Lechery, ye be welcome to our company.
Well, wanton, well, fie, for shame, so soon you do express my name. What if no man should have known? Wis, I shall you beat. Well, wanton, well.
A little pretty mishot, ye be well nice, God wot. Ye be a pretty little boy, wis, ye go full gingerly.
Well, I see your false eye winketh on me full wantonly. Ye be full wantonly, wis.
Pride, I thank you for your labor that you had to fetch this fair flower.
Lois, I told thee that I would bring her with me. Sir, I pray you, tell me now, how doth she like you?
Verily well she pleased me, for she is courteous, gentle, and free. How do you, fair lady? How fare you? Tell me.
Sir, if it please you, I do well enow, and the better that you will wit.
Riot, I would be at the tavern fain, lest charity us meet and turn us again. Then I would be sorry because of this fair lady.
Let us go again betime, that we may be at the wine or ever that he come.
Hie thee apace, and go we hence. We will let for none expense.
Now will we fill the cup and make good cheer. I trust I have a noble here. Hark, sirs, for God Almight, hearest thou not how they fight? In faith, we shall them part. If there be any wine to sell, they shall no longer together dwell. No, then I beshrew my heart.
No, sir, mote I thee, let not thy servants fight within thee, for it is a careful life evermore to live in strife. Therefore, if ye will be ruled by my tale, we will go to the ale and see how we can do. I trust to God that sitteth on high to lease that little company within an hour or two.
Now let us go, for God's sake, and see how merry we can make.
Now let us go apace, and I be last there, I beshrew my face.
Now let us go, that we were there to make this lady some cheer.
Oh, verily, sir, I thank thee that you will bestow it on me, and when it please you on me to call, my heart is yours, body and all.
Fair lady, I thank thee. On the same wise ye shall have me whensoe'er ye please.
Right, we tarry long.
We will go even now with a lusty song.
In faith, I will be Lechery.
Go to it then heartily, and let us be agate.
Abide, fellow, a word with thee. Whither go ye? Tell me. Abide and hear what I shall tell you, and be ruled by my counsel.
Nay, no fellow, nay yet, mate. I trow thy fellow be in Newgate. Shall we tell thee whither we go? Nay, it wis good John a Peppo, who learned thee, thou mistaught man, to speak so to a gentleman. Though his clothes be ne'er so thin, yet he is come of noble kin. Though thou give him such a mock, yet he is come of noble stock. I let thee well to wit.
What? Sir John, what say ye? Will ye be fettered now? Think not too long, I pray you. It may fortune come soon enow. Ye shall think it a little soon.
Yet, sirs, let this cease, and let us talk of goodness.
He turned his tail. He is afeard. By faith, he shall be scared. He weeneth by flattering to please us again, but he laboureth all in vain.
Sir, I pray you me not spare, for nothing I do care that ye can do to me.
No, whoreson, sayest thou so? Hold him, pride. Let me go. I shall fetch a pair of rings that shall sit to his shins, and that even anon.
Hie thee apace and come again, and bring with thee a good chain to hold him here still.
Jesu that was born of Mary mild, from all evil he us shield, and send you grace to amend, or our life be at an end, For I tell you truly that ye live full wickedly. I pray God it amend.
Lo, sirs, look what I bring. Is not this a jolly ringing? By my troth, I trow it be. I will go wit of charity. How sayest thou, Master Charity, does this gear please thee?
They please me well indeed. The more sorrow, the more meed. For God said, while he was a man, Beate qui persectionem patientur propter justitium. Unto his apostles he said so, to teach them how they should do.
We shall see how they can please. Sit down, sir, and take your ease. Methinks these same were full meet to go about your fair feet.
By my truth, I you tell, they would become him very well. Therefore, high that they were on, unto the tavern that we were gone.
That ye shall see anon how soon they shall be on, and after we will not tarry long, but go hence with a merry song.
Let us all begin at once.
Now have at it, my coxbones, and soon let us go.
Lo, masters, here you may see before that the weed overgroweth the corn. Now may ye see all this in tide, how vice is taken and virtue set aside. Yonder you may see youth is not stable, but ever more changeable. And the nature of men is frail, that he wanteth not what may avail. Virtue for to make, O good Lord, it is a pitiful case, since God hath lent men wit and grace to choose of good and evil, that man should voluntarily to such things himself apply, that his soul should spill.
Christ that was crucified and crowned with thorn, and of a virgin for man was born, some knowledge send to me of my brother, Charity.
Dear brother Humility, ye be welcome unto me. Where have you been so long?
I shall do you to understand that I have said mine evensong. But, sir, I pray you tell me now how this case happened to you.
I shall tell you anon. Fellows that I told you on have me thus arrayed.
Sir, I shall undo the bands from your feet and your hands. Sir, I pray you tell me anon whither they be gone, and when they come again.
Sir, to the tavern they be gone, and they will come again anon, and that shall you see.
Then will we them exhort unto virtue to resort, and to forsake sin.
I will help you that I can, to convert that wicked man.
Gallants, and look unto me, and take me for your special. For I am promoted to a high degree. By right I am king eternal. Neither duke, ne lord, baron, ne knight, that may be likened unto me, that have subdued to me by right, as servants to their masters should be.
Ye be welcome to this place here. We think ye labor all in vain. Wherefore your brains we will stir, and keel you a little again.
Sayest thou by brains thou wilt stir? I shall lay thee on the ear. When were thou born in Trumpington, and brought up at Hog's Norton? By my faith, it seemeth so. Well, go, knave, go.
Do by our counsel and our rede, and ask mercy for thy misdeed, and endeavor thee for God's sake, for thy sins amends to make, or ever that thou die.
Hark, youth, for God avow he would have thee a saint now. But youth, I shall you tell, a young saint, an old devil. Therefore I hold thee a fool, and thou follow his school.
I warrant thee, I will not do so. I will be ruled by you two.
Then shall ye do well, if ye be ruled by our counsel. We will bring you to high degree, and promote you to dignity.
Sir, it is a pitiful case that ye would forsake grace, and to vice apply.
Why, knave, doth it grieve thee? Thou shalt not answer for me. When my soul hangeth on the hedge high, then take thou and cast stones as fast as thou wilt.
Sir, if it please you to do thus, forsake them and do after us, the better shall you do.
Sir, he shall do well enow, though he be ruled by neither of you. Therefore crake no longer here, lest thou have on the ear, and that a good knock.
Lightly see thou avoid the place, I shall give thee on the face. Youth, I trow that he would make you holy, or ye be old, and I swear by the rood, it is time enough to be good, when that ye be old.
Sir, by my truth I thee say, I will make merry whilst I may. I cannot tell you how long.
Yea, sir, so mote I thrive, thou art not certain of thy life. Therefore thou art a stark fool to leave mirth, and follow their school.
Sir, I shall him exhort unto us to resort, and you to forsake.
Ask him if he will do so, to forsake us and follow you two. Nay, I warrant you, nay.
That shall you see even anon. I will unto him gon, and see what he will say.
Heartily go on thy way. I know well he will say nay.
Yea, sir, by God, that me dear bought, methinks your labor is all for naught. Weenest thou that I will for thee, or thy brother, Charity, forsake this good company? Nay, I warrant thee.
No, master, I pray you of that. For anything forsake us not, and all our counsel rule you by. Ye may be emperor, or ye die.
While I have life in my body, shall I be ruled by Riot and thee.
Sir, then ye shall do well, for we be true as steel. Sir, I can teach you how to play at the dice, at the Queen's game, and at the Irish, the tray gobbet, and the hazard also, and many other games more. Also at the cards I can teach you to play, at the triumph, and 1 and 30, post, pinions, and also amsace, and at another they call deuce ace. I can tell you more, and ye shall soon me thank. Pink and drink, and also at the blank, and many sports more.
I thank thee, Riot, so mote I thee, for the counsel thou hast given me, and I will follow my mind in everything, and guide me by thy learning.
Youth, leave that counsel, for it is not, and amend that thou hast miswrought, that thou mayest save that God hath bought.
What say ye, Master Charity? What hath God bought for me? By my troth I know not, whether that he goeth in white or black. He came never at the stews, nor in no place where I do use. It was, he brought not my cap, nor yet my jolly hat. I want not what he hath bought for me, and he bought anything of mine, I will give him a quart of wine the next time him I meet.
Sir, this he did for thee. When thou wast bond, he made thee free, and bought thee with his blood.
Sir, I pray you tell me, how may this be, that I know I was never bond unto none in England?
Sir, I shall tell you. When Adam had done great trespass, and out of paradise exiled was, then all the souls, as I can tell, were in the bondage of the devil of hell, till the Father of heaven, of his great mercy, sent the second person in Trinity, us for to redeem. And so with his precious blood, he bought us on the rood, and our souls did save.
How should I save it? Tell me now, and I will be ruled after you, my soul to save.
What? Youth, will you forsake me? I will not forsake thee.
I shall tell you shortly. Kneel down and ask God mercy for that you have offended.
Youth, wilt thou do so? Follow them, and let us go? Marry, I trow, nay.
Herein all sin I forsake, and to God I me betake. Good Lord, I pray thee, have no indignation that I, a sinner, should ask salvation.
Now thou must forsake pride, and all riot set aside.
I will not him forsake, neither early nay late. I weened he would not forsake me, but if it will none otherwise be, I will go my way.
Sir, I pray God be your speed and help you at your need.
I'm sure thou wilt not forsake me, nor I will not forsake thee.
I forsake you also, and will not have to do with you. For I forsake thee utterly.
Fie on thee, caitiff, fie! Once a promise thou did me make that thou would never me forsake. But now I see it is hard, for to trust the wretched world. Farewell, masters every one.
For your sin, look you mourn, and evil creatures look you turn. For your name, who maketh inquisition, say it is good contrition that for sin doth mourn.
Here is a new array, for to walk by the way, your prayer for to say.
Here be beads for your devotion, and keep you from all temptation. Let not vice devour. When ye see misdoing men, good counsel give them, and teach them to amend.
For my sin I will mourn, all creatures will I turn, and when I see misdoing men, good counsel I shall give them, and exhort them to amend.
Then shall you be an inheritor of bliss, where all joy and mirth is.
To the which eternal God bring the persons all, here being Amen.
Thus have we brought our matter to an end before the persons here present. Would every man be content, lest another day we be shent.
We thank all this presence of their meek audience.
Jesu that sitteth in heaven on high, save all this fair company, men and women that here be. Amen, amen, for charity.
And indeed, with that call to the audience amen, amen, it all ends. It does not crack along. I was sit there typing away like Murder, She Wrote opening titles, tidying things up, of which there was a lot of detail in the script that the script as it comes to us doesn't give us in terms of the fettering of charity and release, and just general exits and entrances that we've got there. But yeah, there's because it's relatively early Tudor text. There's lots of little words and phrases that are just quite weird, as well. That are mostly accurate. There are a couple of typos, but we are now very much in end game in terms of tidying up the script, and adding in the footnotes is now more the question about precisely what certain little bits of Latin means, and say just piecing what some of those individual words goes. But the energy of it, I don't know if I have a false memory of this, but when we first read it, it was it might have been quite a painful session. I could be wrong on that. I could be maligning our previous videos, but I have a memory of it being, maybe it was actually a late session. I might be misremembering that. But it goes on at a fair old crack. There were a couple of songs which we didn't mark because we didn't know they were there until someone said, "Let's sing a song." And I could almost sense everyone in the room going, "Oh dear." So they weren't marked beyond people saying that they're going to sing a song. But yeah, it's not a long script. I mean, it's a little over 5,000 words. But I wasn't expecting it to run that quickly, even with that relative brevity. You can never be certain how long a script is going to run just on its word count, because it depends on the energy. But I think the energy was generally right, and I think we managed to get enough oomph behind even some of the more turgid of parts, like charity by its nature is not as dynamic as Riot is. There's only so much one can do with those kinds of parts. I think it really also helps that a couple of years down the line we've done all the other variations on this text. We know the rules.
Right.
And that's one of the big problems with this kind of play, is that the audience doesn't know the rules anymore. This is all very conventional, and I'm fairly certain it's already quite conventional by the time this play appears. It will definitely be very conventional within 20, 30 years further down the line. Vices, fettering or throwing down holes or doing horrible things to a virtuous character, or getting them out of the way in some way, and then someone coming back and releasing them, and a representation of youth or humanity or something going through a sin cycle and then through a spin cycle and coming out washed and clean on the other side. So it's saying very. I'm going to stop talking in a moment, so feel free to start thinking of other people saying things. Please do. Of just what the way these interludes are all very the same. It's a genre that you just sort of throw a new text, but it's the same text every time. And this is why it always reminds me of, and this is both a very accurate and very inaccurate analogy here. It always reminds me of pantomime. There is no such thing as a good pantomime script. They're all rubbish. They may be very well written. They may be, the production is what is good. And I kind of feel that with interludes. There are better and there are worse scripts, but actually they're all rubbish because it's about the genre and the performance and existing with the genre existing, and this genre just doesn't exist anymore. And until you do all of them, and you do them a lot, and you have an audience that gets it, they don't really come alive. And that's sort of the point of us constantly going back to them, is that we have a chance to actually go, hey, yeah, this kind of works. I know what the game is. I understand this play. I understand this text. I understand this genre. Anyway, that's my soapbox. I'm now going to climb off it. Hang on, just 1 second. Off the soapbox now. Lynn, then Aliki, then Lois.
Yes, speaking of conventions, we've all seen this story before because we've done this. One of the conventions is that mankind, humanity, every man, youth, has this sort of sudden about face where he decides, oh, I better not be a sinner anymore. I better be a good person. And it doesn't seem motivated, and it's all really very sudden. And I was not prepared for that, even though I knew it had to be coming. I wasn't really prepared for that to happen, so I don't feel like I delivered the first line after that that conversion had happened properly. So yeah, and you just accept that. The audience just accepts that, yeah, eventually he's going to have a change of heart, and it's just going to be kind of out of the blue, because that's how that works. So you have to think about how you sell that to a modern audience.
I think there's also questions of costuming as well. The bling that youth potentially is coming in with at the beginning, and the interaction with the audience, and there's so many additional performancey things that come out of doing a read like this without really any prep. Because I think everybody here, after they finished the speech, went, "Oh, that's how I should have been doing. Oh, that's how I should." And it's that thing afterwards. But the text does give us that. It is giving us all those clues. It's just we haven't had the chance to sort of really dig into them. Aliki, then Lois.
I love how the text is so thoroughly embedded in that kind of Christian thought, that even though we are meant to believe that youth rejects God and doesn't believe that his soul has been bought by the sacrifice of Jesus and all of that, he starts out, like he's on page 2, "Sir, by God that me dear bought." And then a few pages later, he says, "What do you mean he bought me? What do you mean? I wasn't in bond."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, it's yes, these turn of phrases that just are so embedded that you just say them. Yeah.
Even Riot and Pride say things like, "By the grace of God above," and you're like, really?
Yeah, so weird.
Lois.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to make the same point, obviously, about the conversion just happening without any obvious motivation. There's another play very like this, Hick's Scorner, where I think the character who's converted is slightly more motivated. Somebody says something about, think about going to hell when you die, and I think this is the one in which he says, "Nothing dread I so great as death. Therefore, to amend, I think it now time." And then you get the conversion. Whereas here, I mean, it's made visual. There's a change of costume, and I would imagine if he's got a lot of jewelry, he might throw it away when he's given the beads for his devotion instead. I mean, Charity says, "Here's a new array," and Humility says, "Here be beads for your devotion." So presumably the visual effect might be enough to make up for the complete lack of psychology here.
Yeah, and I think we're always on a slightly slippery ground if we're expecting psychology from this kind of drama, because it's not really trying to do that a lot of the time. But yes, that ritualistic element of handing objects that signify your changing status. Your new array, your new clothing, a rosary, and we get that in other texts as well. Every man gets a clean shift of some description, and lots of other morality plays do that. There's an awful lot weighted on costume changes. Also for the vices, I don't think we had that. We didn't get that on our bingo card today. The vices didn't pretend to be somebody else and disguise themselves as a more virtuous character. We do not get that game in this text. So sadly, there's no full house for the bingo card for the Tudor interlude bingo. Anyone playing along at home, and so that's not in play, but it's doing a lot of the other things. Good thing to mention, Hick's Corner, which is from almost exactly the same time, slightly afterwards, and is basically a reworking of this play, just longer, and but with, I think, fewer characters, so that it doubles down to 4 rather than 5. So it feels like someone's taken this template and run with it, but not necessarily rewriting explicitly this play. It could be rewriting or reworking any number of plays that don't exist anymore that are exactly the same as this one. So, because it's a genre, they just churn them out as far as I can tell. Alan, then Lynn.
Yeah, I must admit, I did feel back on familiar ground from the mystery cycles in terms of the way the verse schema worked. It was much less convoluted than many of the later plays that we've worked on over the last couple of years or whatever.
I think it's a shorter line, though, and I say it's not. There aren't hard stresses on it. You can move it around a bit more, like sort of more naturalistic speak. I think mystery plays tend to be a little more formal in their verse, but it is in that universe. This is the thing to remember about medieval mystery plays: is a lot of them come to us as effectively Tudor texts. This is a sort of area where it's all a bit blurry. Mystery plays are still happening at the time this play is going about. The Reformation has not knocked on the door yet to ruin the party. Lynn.
Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree with you about something, Rob. That all the texts are basically rubbish. I kind of like this one. I found it much less difficult to read on the fly than some of the stuff from the early modern period that we've done. The syntax isn't too convoluted. The rhymes don't seem too forced. The characters seem to have a little bit of a character. It's just and it really does bounce. The speeches aren't too long, so that nobody's holding the floor for too long, and you don't get bored with that. I really actually found it much more doable and much more enjoyable on the level of the language than some of the stuff from this period and in this genre. And if you were going to do some kind of a production of this basic, template, of this boilerplate of, somebody representing humanity, starts out as a party boy and ends up as a pious individual. This is definitely a text I would pick, because I just feel like it rolls off the tongue really pretty nicely.
Yes, I may have exaggerated for effect as a
Okay.
general principle. Yes, absolutely. Some plays will be better than others. As a continuum, there's something very efficient about them rather than aiming for certain effects that other texts do. Any other thoughts before I close this session? I'm sure we will return to this again relatively soon. Maybe not in this room, maybe in another format. The detailing for this is now very much about physical performance, and I'm not sure how much we'd get even if we dug into those stage directions that we didn't really play with too much today. So this is one that feels much more. We need a space, we need bodies, and we'll move in the general full cast audio adaptation route, because this is a very doable one. It always ticks all my boxes. It's short and it's got a small cast. So yes, look out for more on this anon. I'm hoping we'll be able to touch on it earlier than about 3 years down the line. I think a 3-year interval is a little excessive. We can shave a few months off that. So all that remains, thank all the wonderful readers for all their wonderful reading. Thank you very much, everyone, and goodbye.